Welcome to the weekly Pick and Pack, the podcast about all things inventory. Pick and Pack, powered by Fishbowl.
Welcome to the weekly Pick and Pack. My name is Nate Flake. We got episode 7 here. So, like I said, Nate Flake's my name.
I'm the other Nate.
And then we have somewhat of a ghost. This is Sean, the fact checker. We pulled him on the mic, and we're going to bring him in and hopefully get a couple words out of him this episode.
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll keep it short and sweet today, guys.
He was spitting hot fire earlier today, so I don't know. We'll see.
We can shut him up.
It's good to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
So we're going to talk about, holiday breaks over, the craziness of December and January, New Year's. So we're here the first week of January, and we're going to talk about kind of a recap of 2019, and not just a recap of conferences and the best events to go to. So we talked about this earlier in episodes about doing an episode that was basically dedicated to conferences and events, because that's so much of what a lot of SMBs do, is having to go to these conferences and expos and
get in front of people. And
yeah. I feel like right now, too, LinkedIn is just blown up, especially because CES is right now in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
So you're seeing a ton of videos and interviews, and it's like this whole kind of charade that people go through, at these conferences.
Kind of like what's the benefit of going to these conferences or whatever besides just seeing cool stuff like CES. I wish we could have gone to CES, by the way. That would have been cool.
I know. I wish it had to do with anything with what we do.
All right. Wish we could have justified it somehow.
Yeah, we may need robots in the office.
The office or the warehouse robots, dude.
Yeah, or that LG, like that dry cleaning dryer thing that looks like it's like a stand-up dryer you hang clothes in and it just dry cleans them somehow.
Yep, and steams them so they don't so they don't have any wrinkles. That's awesome.
I saw another thing that's kind of like the same along the same lines. It's like a folding machine, but it I think it was just like one of those mock-ups where it's like a fake video where there's this machine that like folds your clothes, but it never
really worked.
Never materialized.
They got you, sucker.
So anyway, so let's talk about conferences. So feels like we went to a lot of conferences this year, especially where we're kind of in a partnership role where we meet with a lot of partners. We try to meet with different consultants, different financial firms, and all the stuff that comes along with that. So let's start with back in the summer. We had one here in Salt Lake City. I guess we haven't really said it on the podcast yet. The Fishbowl's based out of Utah, right?
Yeah, probably not.
We have mentioned it, maybe not. But so it was here local. So it was in Salt Lake City, scaling new heights, and it was back in June. And we did. We kind of went all out for that one because it was local, and so we got a kind of a little bunch of trucks, I guess, and put.
Which is not hard to find in our parking lot.
Yeah, so many trucks, dude. So we brought a bright orange couch up. We brought a fridge up.
Giant rug.
We basically had a living room set up.
Yeah, we even had a coffee table.
A couple
chairs.
It was too loungy.
It was good times.
It was unreal.
Yeah, good TV.
And so Scaling New Heights, if you don't know that, it's basically it's a conference that Woodard puts on that's for
geared towards accountants.
Yeah,
right?
Geared towards accountants, geared towards small businesses. So there are we had a bunch of inventory solutions there, a lot of small business solutions. I know like Divvy was there with their credit card service. There was a bunch of merchants there, a ton of financial firms, a lot of different accounting firms, obviously, a ton of QuickBooks consultants. So I liked it because it was local. I didn't love driving home. We should have just stayed up there.
I was going to say, it was almost like harder because it was local. Like, I feel like we put in more hours in that one because it was local.
Yeah.
I don't know.
20, 30-minute drive. And so we'd stay out after the conference, try to go to all the events after. And, it was a long week, actually.
That's the best part of, like, being really close by the conference center, wherever it is. Like, staying in a hotel nearby is, like, between those like the actual session and between like the after party, you can actually go back to your hotel and just kind of chill for a minute, kind of reset.
Yeah.
I think that's why that one was kind of hard too, is because we're still pretty new to this whole game, right?
Yeah, we didn't have a home
We still
base.
are, let's be real. But yeah, there was like nowhere to go just like wind down for a second. Like it would just go for like 18 hours a day. It was rough,
Yeah, it was crazy.
but it was really good. We found a lot of success there too, so it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too because we were able to, like, we had a couple people come be able to tour the office.
Oh yeah.
A couple different consultants. We had one consultant out of Michigan that they actually stayed an extra day, and our CMO took them fishing. Right, took them fly fishing or
that was
fishing
awesome.
on the lake the next day.
Which was great because he'd been able to help us out with a bunch of different things as far as like business sense is concerned.
Yeah,
So the fact
yeah.
that he just wanted to go fishing, and we have a CMO that loves
yeah.
fishing and has a little boat and knows
it
all the
worked
right
out.
spots. It was awesome.
Yeah, it worked out. So so let's talk about the kind of the good and the bad of scaling. Like, what did we like? What did we not? I mean, like I said, I liked it was local. I also liked that we were able to take so many people up there. So, like, from our perspective, staff, we basically swapped out. We had to go every day, but we had different new people from the company come up every day.
Yeah, how many like
So that was
passes did
cool.
we have that we were able to hand
I
around?
think
Like
we
8?
rotated like 8 different people.
Okay.
So every day we had a new group of 8.
Yeah. And then there was like 3 steady and then
Yeah.
new groups. Yeah, that was good.
So I like that. I also liked and we'll talk about this a little bit later when we talk about like how to stand out at a conference, because there's so many people, right? So many booths. But another company I liked was what's it called? The
I don't
Rage
know.
Cage.
Oh yeah.
What's the company name?
File
Gnarly High.
e-file.
E-file cabinet.
Yeah, e-file cabinet. There we
So
go.
they had, that I thought was cool. So
That
out in
was
the
really
lobby,
cool.
they had what they call a Rage Cage, and you may have seen these guys if you've run into them before, but
It's like a plexiglass box, basically a giant
Yeah.
box that you go in that you can see into. That
yeah.
they had like all the school districts around, or there was one school district, maybe that was a local school district that was revamping kind of
Yeah.
all their technology, so they were able to donate all the copiers and monitors and kind of
Printers.
like super old stuff. Let's be honest, it was not like anything new that you were breaking, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But there was glass in a lot of it, which is cool.
it was good. Yeah,
Yeah, so essentially
Easy
it's
to
this
smash.
little cube. So they made this like temporary room out in this big the lobby as you walk in. Tons of signage everywhere and logos and stuff. And you have to sign this waiver in case you get hurt, right? They give you a helmet, chest protector.
Yeah, you had like a catcher's
Yeah,
chest
you look
protector on, like a
you're-
baseball catcher's
yeah,
chest
you look
protector. It
like
was
you're a
funny.
catcher.
It was
and they give you a
hilarious.
baseball bat and they say, okay, you have 30 seconds to go crazy.
And the helmet was like a SWAT helmet. Like it was like a hard hat, but then it had the glass thing that goes down in front.
Yeah.
So you're
You
just
felt pretty
smashing
cool.
computers.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff?
have some videos. We should show you.
It was pretty
them,
fun.
but, and then they have a bunch of GoPros inside the thing, and then they give you a e-file cabinet T-shirt to wear while you're doing it, so then they can use it. Essentially, the
Yeah.
thing you sign says like, if you get hurt, and we can use your stuff on all of our marketing forever, right?
Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. People were lining up, dude.
They were
it was
smart.
Just take out their whole thing was like take out your rage of your old-fashioned filing systems, right? And
Oh, that's great.
I'd say they took the best advantage of being local,
yeah.
because that's another one that you probably can only do if you're local.
Oh,
or
yeah,
like
it
have a
would've
local
been-
brand.
They
or
literally
whatever.
were bringing trucks in of printers like every few hours.
Yep.
Like you'd go out to lunch, you'd see them unloading more printers and more scanners, and they did a good job. Yeah, we have the
Yeah, it was
videos. I'll
awesome.
have to show you. They're pretty funny. But I'm pretty sure I tore my shoulder when I was doing it.
Well, and they were smart too, because they did like whoever gets the most likes or shares or whatever on social media, you get some
It
prize.
was like $1,000.
Yeah, it was something that was pretty decent. So everyone was sharing their own like stuff on their own social media and on LinkedIn and stuff. So it just was a good exposure thing for them in general.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's cool, and that's memorable. Like, people will not forget the Rage Cage.
We obviously haven't. So
So
Forgot the name of the company for a second there, but
yeah, you guys also went to Magento in Las Vegas. I saw some pictures of
Yeah.
you guys down there. They were pretty cool.
yeah, the Magento conference is cool. Magento Imagine. We're in the e-commerce space, but not.
Yeah.
I mean, Magento's big time, right? They got Adobe. Now they have Adobe backing.
we went down there as attendees. So that was a little bit different just because we
Yeah.
didn't have a booth or anything. We were able to just roam, which is
Yeah.
really cool. But it's also Adobe, so they have all the money in the world to throw at it. So they made sure it was really cool. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So that one was it's so funny. So Fishbowl's colors are orange, right? Orange and black and blue. But we thought we were like so clever. We're like we're gonna wear black Fishbowl tees. We're gonna buy bright orange backpacks and bright orange shoes. We're gonna like totally stick out.
thinking
not
like if you've
thinking,
ever been to
yeah.
like a club or like a college party and there's like the Red Bull girls that show up in like the Red Bull car and have the Red
Yeah.
Bull backpack that's stocked full of Red Bulls. It's like, oh yeah, they stand out because they're
they're
good looking
wearing
girls
back-
probably, but
Yeah.
also because they're wearing all the gear. We were like, oh, we'll be like that, but like the Fishbowl Bros,
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, everyone. The orange was obviously Magento's colors, right?
Yeah, so you
So
blended
anyone
it
that
in.
worked
You
at the-
blended it.
People are asking us
yeah.
questions.
People
Where
be
the
like,
next
"Where's this?"
sessions were and stuff. It was like we totally blended in, and then
It was awesome.
yeah, and then everyone's orange now. Like
Yeah.
Avalara, Magento,
Yeah.
tons of other companies at that conference were
Kind of a hot
orange.
color.
Yeah,
But
so we failed. I mean, it was cool. We met a lot of people.
still stood out quite a bit. It was good.
It was a ton of walking.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously, you go to Vegas, it was just like you park and then you walk 17 miles to get to the conference center, even though you're in the same parking lot you're supposed to be. So,
That one was in the spring. I feel like that one, this might be like off topic of what we should be talking about probably, but I'm going to do it anyway. It was a good like warm up though for scaling new heights because it was like we didn't have a booth, so it wasn't go 24/7. It was literally like we could kind of go at our leisure and like we had a specific list of people we wanted to see and contact
to.
or whatever and talk to. So that's another unique advantage to conferences that you can take advantage of if you're in that small to medium business space where you can't afford to fly out and see all of your different partnerships or all of your different affiliates.
yeah.
But you can all kind of be at the same place at the same time because
Yep.
of this one thing in common. So that was cool. And like I said, it was a good warm up to scaling because I kind of got the good feel of how to reach out to people or how to contact these people or like see what other people were doing in their booths so we could kind of replicate the things that we liked and the things that were working and
Yeah.
what weren't. So
Yeah, so that's some good advice. Like if you've never been to a conference before, and we're going to talk about a list at the end of this, like of all the ones we're going to try to go to in 2020.
yeah.
Since the 14 people that listen to this podcast, in case they want to meet us at those conferences.
Hey, that's up 2 subscribers from last episode, baby. Keep that increase up.
But I think like that's a good advice is if you don't know whether it'll be worth your time or not, go the first year as attendees, check it out. Don't drop $5,000 on a booth if you're like, if it's a guess, right?
Yep.
A lot of times you can get special deals doing that too. Say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm looking into doing a booth for this. Want to just make sure it's my right space. What kind of deal can I get going into it?
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I think another good tip is if you have any strong partnerships, like talk to them about which conferences work well
For them, yeah.
And that's something we're doing right now too with one of our partners is we want to get into a conference that's geared towards the food and beverage industry.
Yeah.
And I was able to talk to this partner and say, hey, what conferences did you go to? Which ones do you like? Which ones are going to be valuable for us? And they'll provide really good insight.
Yeah, because those partners know, they obviously know your product. They know where your customer base is going to be. So,
Yeah.
and that's why we wanted to kind of go as attendees because, and I don't think it probably won't ever make sense for us to have a booth at a Magento. Imagine it's just we're too small of a company and it's just too insane.
And we're not specifically in that space. Like you said, we have partnerships that work in that space. So
Yeah.
that's why it was a good one for us to go
Yeah.
to, but not necessarily a sponsor.
Yeah, we integrate with them, and obviously everyone uses their shopping cart, but it was cool. I mean, it was kind of like the typical like crazy Las Vegas convention. Brought in all the big names. We went and saw Gary V. His little keynote was awesome, and then they brought in Walk the Moon.
Oh, yeah.
Night for the party and.
If you don't know who that is, it's the Shut Up and Dance With Me people. That's
Shut
the
Up
song,
and
that's
Dance,
the
yeah.
song that they sang or whatever. But you maybe thought they were the Killers if you were at that
Yeah, dude, they
conference.
were doing. Yeah, so they on their website it still says the Killers came last year because they sang
no.
like 2 Killer songs.
They sang like 3 or 4. They sang a bunch, dude.
Yeah,
But
so
they
I
like
think
never
people
gave them
thought
credit
they were
for
the
it.
Killers,
Yeah.
Okay.
but they weren't, and they never
Nope.
said this. Yeah, so if you go to Magento's website,
They killed the
for
performance though of all those
next
Killer songs.
conference, yeah, they did good. I mean, not as good as the Killers would have done,
No, absolutely, but
but it says the Killers
Get what you pay
performed
for.
last year. I'm like, that is such false advertising.
that is funny.
But they were good. They were good.
That party though was wild because it was like a poolside party, right? And they had like
Yeah, it was at the Encore.
they had like the plexiglass over the pool, so like it felt like you were walking on the pool, but there wasn't.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was nice.
It was a good time.
Going back to like scaling and kind of the after parties, that was one thing that I think scaling did an okay job of. They had that like after party up at Gateway
Oh
at
yeah,
the depot.
yeah.
But like if you're gonna go, here's my thing: if you're gonna go to a conference and spend the money to be there, like during the actual 9 to 5 or whatever the expo hours are, the exhibiting hours, like you're going to talk to a ton of people. A lot of times you're not going to have more than 5 minutes with each person.
Sure.
So I feel like you almost have to go to those after parties to continue the conversations.
Absolutely.
Right? Why
Yeah.
they're relevant and why they're still fresh in people's minds.
I'm
And
trying-
it's just good, like, bonding.
I'm trying to think, like, you guys tell me, but those after parties, the music's blaring. I can't have any conversation with that.
Well, I
stuff
mean,
going
it's not a
on.
conversation, but they'll remember they were with you, right?
Okay.
Well, hopefully, if they're not
Yeah.
too slammed.
Well, a lot of times too, like there's, I don't know, depends on which after party you're going to. Like there was
Yeah.
a couple that we went to that obviously were like the bangers.
That are insane. But,
yeah.
like, I mean, but like the Skelling
There's a
one
lot
was
that are, like,
fine. It
dinners
wasn't
and,
crazy
like-
loud.
No.
They do sponsor, they had people sponsoring the party that would come up in the middle of the music and turn the music down and give some giveaway or a gift card or something. But it was just good to like see people after because everyone has their kind of fake face on during the day.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's
Everyone's
like
got their game face on. It's like,
it's a more relaxed vibe where you can actually
Yeah.
like sit down and talk to someone instead of it being like,
yeah.
can I see your business card?
Yeah, and that's why, so like at Skelling, we rented out I don't, that sounds so like boomer of me. We rented out a restaurant.
Okay, boomer.
We reserved a room and did like a little private dinner for our partners and for people who we wanted to start working with. And we had, I don't know, 50 or 60 people at that dinner. So that was cool because then it was more of like a little kind of exclusive event. If we had partners that wanted to bring their friends or whoever was with them, they were fine to do it. And it actually was awesome because it was the first time we had done something like that and we got a lot of good feedback.
Yeah, we did.
So
That was
advice
great.
to you, if you get invited to one of those dinners, which you will if you go to these and talk to anybody, more than
Those are
likely.
the real parts of the
Yeah,
conference
those are
that you need
cool.
to go to. Yeah.
Those are cool, especially, yeah, because they're like they're more intimate. Like there's only a small group of people usually.
It's like being invited to somebody's house after the party. It's like, oh yeah, come back to my place. It's like, well, yeah, you need to take advantage of that. You
Yeah.
go.
All right, so let's go to the next conference. So we did scaling, we did Magento Magic, we did scaling, and then AccountX at Boston. I liked AccountX; it was cool. They always do it in the same place. Again, it was a good conference where we got invited to some of the partner things where, like the after hours events that were more casual. You're able to kind of wander Boston and go to like the North End with a bunch of people. We hang out with Avalera there a little bit. They invited us.
Yeah,
to
they
their
invited us to
event.
that was an awesome one too because it was like all you can eat lobster at like this
Yeah.
sweet little restaurant. So that was
Yeah,
cool.
that was great. And then they gave like a 3-hour
tour, right?
thing of the lobster. I thought
Yeah.
that guy like loved lobster way too much, but he was super knowledgeable.
It's his livelihood, man.
That dude loved lobsters.
He did love lobster.
Did he have
take
a,
you- they
did
take
he have
you
a
back.
Boston accent?
Oh, for
the
sure.
hardest Boston.
Oh, that's
accent.
great.
Dude, he was back there. Yeah, because we rolled up and they were all in the back of the restaurant, like talking about the lobster.
It was really
They were
weird.
basically giving the biography of this one lobster. The guy was holding the lobster, just telling his
To
life
his
story.
credit, the lobster was like 14 or 15, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he was
It's an
going
old
hard.
lobster.
They aged that lobster.
Yeah, and then
Love it.
then
That
I'm
was
pretty
the-
sure we ate that lobster.
He was the
then.
male breeder. That's why he was so impressed.
Oh, are
with
you
them.
serious? Are you
Yeah.
being dead serious?
Yeah, I'm 100%.
dang.
That's why they like kept him so long because he was the
He was the stud
he was
lobster.
the seed. Yeah,
That was wild, dude. I was like, we're talking about this lobster way too long.
we're
I'm
eating
not a
all of his
seafood guy.
children.
I'm not a seafood guy too, so I didn't love the smell back there either.
Yeah.
But
think
the
anyone
party
loves
was
the
the
smell.
party was cool. So and then AccountX is more for obviously accountants, right? That one's a little bit bigger than scaling. One thing they did have there that I thought was really really cool was the they had those little headsets. So instead of doing like
Yeah.
the sessions and it was just super loud, they did all the headsets and they had the so they'd be like, okay, go to exhibit hall 1, but it was all in the same big hall. So the halls were literally just divided by stages. They weren't like broken into actual rooms.
It was really cool
And
because
then they had these cool headsets where you could go and say, okay, you change it to channel 4, and then all of a sudden you're listening to the speaker who's on a microphone that's only turned on to these headsets. So
that's
they're
cool.
doing like
It was
20
wild.
keynotes at a time, and everyone just walking around and just changing to whatever channel they wanted to hear.
and all in the same space, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like everyone was so spread out. And like I don't know, I think it's smart of them because they didn't have to rent out the entire conference hall. Right, it was like one large exhibit space, and then they didn't have to do any classrooms.
Yeah, and the other thing that's cool about that is like we had a booth there. We get a booth there every year, And we were kind of towards the back, like right when you walk in, and there's an exhibit hall right on the right that was maybe 20, 30 yards from us. So like it's scaling while they're doing that. You can't hear anything because they got a guy on the mic. So you're trying to talk to someone in your booth in between sessions and you can't hear them. But this one, it was like almost like too quiet.
Yeah.
Like it was almost like when you go to a restaurant and they don't have background music on and it's like so quiet that you don't want to talk out loud.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But it was good for business wise because then you can talk, right?
Yeah.
So I like that. That was cool. The AccountX part of that.
I feel like that one, like, I don't know if it was the people or if it was just me or I don't know what the difference was, but I feel like it was a lot more engaging too. Like the people I had conversations with, it was less just like them passing by and trying to grab some swag. And more like they were actually interested in what we did and like more ready for a conversation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what scaling. Scaling was just kind of crazy.
It was crazy. And I mean, not knocking on scaling at all because I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know what the difference was. But it just seemed to me like the attendees at AccountX were more willing to like
Yeah, there was
stay
less
there and
people
hang out.
there too,
Yeah, that's true.
and less more exhibitors, but less people.
Yeah.
So, speaking of swag, one thing that if you have been to any of these conferences that have anything to do with accounting or ERP or inventory management, T-Sheets is really good at doing basically getting these like
I do like these raffles, right?
these bookkeepers
They get everyone's
riled
attention.
up, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they every time they'll say, okay, we're gonna draw whatever some cash, right? So everyone has these raffle tickets and they hoard. Like it's insane. Like you can't get people like as they're walking by. It's like, oh, I'm going to the T-Sheets thing, and they stand up on the tables, and that's kind of like what they're known for, is being like rowdy and.
What I've figured out though is they do those raffle tickets like at the keynotes, right? So they like have to like drop off the tickets on the seats or whatever, and they're gonna like the conference people are gonna charge you for that.
Yeah.
So T-Sheets has to have the funding.
Yeah, they
to
just
make
go
it
hard
worth it to do that.
Yeah. So then everybody comes. So they're known as like, they do the raffles every conference.
Oh, they're great. Yeah,
You know?
everyone loves them.
Yeah. We met a
And-
couple of guys from T-Sheets. They're cool.
They don't cheap out on their T-shirts, so when you actually get a shirt, you're like pumped about it because they're nice shirts.
Dude, I wore my
Yeah.
T-Sheets shirt last night to play pickleball.
Oh, really?
Got a compliment on it. So that shirt
for you.
looks soft. I said, it's a T-Sheets shirt.
It is a T-Sheets T-shirt.
Another
Go
guy
Google
there.
it.
Yeah, another guy. I don't know what he does for work, but he's like, oh, you guys integrate with T-Sheets? I'm like, yeah, we do actually.
Good conversation starter,
Yeah, it
dude.
was pretty
Start wearing
funny.
it around.
So good job, T-Sheets, because I just gave you some free marketing there.
Yeah, this episode is sponsored by T-shirts.
Yeah, seriously.
Again,
Okay, so let's go to. We'll come back to swag. I want to talk about swag for a little bit. The next conference we did, this was probably my favorite conference all year. And where did he find us?
he
Tony.
found us at Scaling.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we're at Scaling.
Yeah, they were with us, or they had a booth too.
Yeah.
and so he came and talked to us.
Oh, that's right. Brandon was like, hey, go talk to these guys.
Yeah, and they found us before we found them, basically.
Those guys, dude, they're good. So Tony from Latino Tax. So he's the man. Like, and everyone it's funny because I know we talk to people at conferences like, oh, you talk to Tony?
Yeah,
You talk to Tony about
Like,
Latino Tax?
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
Tony.
Tony gets around, man. Tony's the man. I hope he listens to this. I'm
Tony's
gonna
a
send him the
homeboy.
link after. But so Tony, he is like insanely good at getting people hyped up about coming to their conference. So they did Latino Tax Fest again in Vegas. Not as insane of numbers as actually probably numbers wise, but like
Dude,
as far
Numbers
as like
was wild.
how big a Magento Manager was, it wasn't as like grand. It was in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the
It was an MGM,
MGM.
which is a pretty good conference space. Like, it
Yeah,
was
the
huge.
space was big.
Yeah,
But it didn't seem as like, I don't even know, like fake, I guess. I don't even know the word.
Commercial.
It wasn't as commercial as Magento, and it wasn't like
Yeah.
as, walk 23 miles this way past 1 million Magento signs to get to the conference. It was like you go, and as soon as you get there, it's like you're at the party.
yeah. You like didn't have to wander your way through the casino to actually like make
Yeah.
it to the conference center. It was nice.
So Tony hit us up at Scaling New Heights, sat on our orange couch, chatted it up for a bit. So he was like, you guys got to come to Latino Tax Fest. You guys got to be an exhibitor there. And we had never been to Latino Tax Fest. And so, which he was like, hey, you guys can get kind of to the Latino bookkeeping market.
Come check it out.
And come check it out. He's like, he just comped us passes. Like, come check it out this year, and then see how it is. It's a party. So we're like, all right, Vegas, that's not far away. We'll go. So we went, and it was like insane. Like
It was a party the whole time.
I've never seen so many people.
It was phenomenal.
It was by far the most people I'd seen in a conference.
Oh yeah, they had like mariachi bands. They had like the mariachi dancers.
Yeah.
They had like, I don't know, all the food was so good.
But it was just like it was. I don't know. I was trying to explain to people when I got back. I'm like, it was a conference, but it was almost like a family reunion. Like you feel like you were just like everybody knew everybody.
There were legitimately kids there. Like people were bringing their kids into some of these like
Yeah, it was cool.
things. It was great.
It was cool. And they
was a good time.
they had like a margarita bar.
Yep.
They had like some random booths were just doing donuts, like hot donuts. They were literally making donuts at the booths.
Oh, I'm there.
Yep. It was
I'm
awesome.
there.
And
They
it was
also
really
had
cool.
a tequila booth that
Yeah.
was just selling tequila.
That's
That was a
Dude,
winner.
tequila, like that, that messes people up. I don't
Real
know.
party. That's maybe why it was such a party. It was awesome. Just 9 o'clock in the
They were
morning.
responsible. I think it was too.
It was
But I was
phenomenal.
just like, dude, this place is. It was insane how many people were there, and how they just kept the party. So I actually took my family down there. Like my wife and kids went to the pool during the day, and
My wife and
then,
kids bailed on me.
And then they had the pool party. Like that night, they literally continued the conference all the way into the night. They had a pool party. They had, like you said, they had mariachi people, the mariachi band.
Some dude even like proposed to his girlfriend in the middle of like the mariachi band
Oh yeah, I saw that.
concert or whatever.
Oh, how romantic.
That was great, dude.
That's,
People were going
that's
wild.
next level.
It was fun.
Yeah, you can't say no in front of that many people.
No,
I
smart
guess you
dude.
can. I've seen some, but he was So shout out to Tony. Like they did a
Dude.
killer job, and so
Yeah, Tony's one of those guys too that I feel like he's always
everywhere.
in talks with someone. Like you said, everyone knows him.
Yeah.
But like he's so good at sitting down and like just talking to you without feeling like he's in a hurry to like
And is,
get you
trying
out of
to
the way.
Sell you something.
Yeah, like he like sat down at scaling with us for probably 10 or 15 minutes and just chatted.
Yeah.
But then like the more I've talked to him, the more I've seen him in these different arenas. Basically, it's like the dude's always got something going on, but he still just like doesn't seem stressed out about it. He's good at his job.
Yeah, the dude's wild. He and then we got invited to their little like dinner brunch thing.
Oh yeah.
So that was cool too.
Same night
So-
as the pool party, right?
Yeah. So again, it was like maybe 20 people, but so like what they did well, and so that may be a conference you want to look into for 2020. It's like only 3 days. It's not crazy price like some of the other ones in Vegas, but it was like there's a ton of SMB resources there. They had inventory. They had tons of tax resources.
Yeah.
Tons of bookkeeping resources, and then they had a lot of people that were focused on the Latino market too. So we're like
Yep.
Fishbowl. We have a lot of companies that like manufacture in like South America or Mexico, but then they have offices here in the U.S. Like that's the bread and butter. That's like perfect for those type
Yeah.
of companies.
Yeah, and they're so Latino Tax, what they do is they're like an education resource, right? So they teach classes basically to these accountants and like bookkeepers and tax prep people throughout the year, and they keep up with all like the tax changes and tax codes and blah 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 that go on. So that's like you said, that was what the sponsorships were mainly geared towards.
Yeah.
Now do they do it in Spanish or English or
All of the above.
Okay.
Yeah, the conference. The
There were even
conference
some
was all in
Russian
English.
speakers there.
Oh, there were some Ruskies there.
Yes, sir.
It's from my days in the motherland.
It was great.
Yeah, they were trying to sell us like phone chargers. Remember?
Yeah, yeah. They were next to the tequila booth. They had like a retailer row basically.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
phone
great.
chargers, tax. I mean, it really
Well-
comes together pretty nicely.
No, I honestly thought it was kind of smart because, like I said, they had like all like the sponsorship booths, and then they had like a retail booths section that it was like
Nice.
you can get stuff that you want over here, and then over here is like your business.
Did they also sell cologne and
Yeah, that was a shady corner.
things like that? Okay, I'm going too far. Maybe we
sell
should just
No, they
stop
didn't.
there.
Why do you say that?
Well, yeah. Well, I guess the cologne's probably in the bathroom, right, at the MGM. Then you saw the cologne.
Actually, yeah, that was
come
it.
back to
That was a Magento.
Magento.
Yep, they even had like a guy in the bathroom, didn't they?
Dude, that guy was every
A shoe
cologne,
polisher?
Literally, he was in there like
The shoe polisher wasn't in the bathroom.
fully
luckily.
tucked. He was fully tucked, but he probably would have.
Probably. He was spraying cologne and
Dude,
like
he was
asked me if
doing
I
that.
wanted
He
like
was
some
giving me
hairspray. I was
a
like,
mint. Yeah, he's giving you a mint. I've never actually like seen someone doing that, but
he made me
was
like
in that.
self-conscious though. He's like, "Oh, do you want some hairspray?" And I was like, "Well, do it.
Yeah.
Is my hair okay?" Like,
He's like, bro, you need some hairspray.
right
for
here,
sure.
let me help you out.
Don't walk out of here without it.
That was fun.
Let's take a break for a segment, before we get into kind of swag in the last conference that we did.
Oh yeah.
QB Connect. So let's talk about. So we wanted to do this last week. Did we do office peeves last? I don't think we did last time.
I think we did. Because we did like personal office peeves.
Oh,
right?
you
I
did.
think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But it kind of didn't count because you just took James's.
Yeah. Did I?
Cool. I think
no,
so.
No, that was pretty sincere.
Nope.
So let's do office peeves. You want to just each go around and do one then?
Dude, if you want.
Or did you have a list?
I looked up a couple, but I haven't really.
Okay. You do the office peeves, and then I'll
Prepared
do the improv read in a little bit.
Deal. So office peeves, a lot of people can probably relate to these. So there's a couple. Let me see. This one I thought was funny, that when at least half the messages in your inbox start with the subject "please read," as if you didn't already know that you should read your
how
emails
annoying.
from people. Thought that was kind of funny because I think we've all had a million of those emails, the "please read," or the ones that are marked as like urgent when they're not urgent, and you want to be like, "Hey, you ever heard the story of little boy who cried wolf?" Let's see, the other one, when your desk mate thinks that every phone call absolutely needs to utilize speakerphone and then accuses you of eavesdropping on their conversation when it's just out loud anyway.
Who does that?
I don't think anyone does it in our office, really. That's
Sean.
oh,
Sean, dude, we can't roast Sean now because he's on
that's
the
a good
mic.
point.
We
I
can't just
know,
roast
yeah.
him off the mic now.
Yeah, I got.
well, now he can have comebacks. Can't just type on the screen.
Sean
we can
had a
ignore it.
day where he had.
Literally a day. It was a full,
full
day,
day.
that we weren't allowed in the office.
We should have taken PTO that day. So Sean took a full day
The
where he
three of
had
us share an office, by the
partners
way, if you
in the
don't know.
office. So we have 3 desks in this office. We have a lounge area. We're gonna do video. I think we're gonna start doing video on the next podcast, so you'll be able to see kind of what we're describing here.
That'd be cool.
So we have 3 desks. We have a couch, coffee table, 2 chairs on the other side of this office that we all share. Sean just totally monopolized the entire space for 3 hours in the morning. So me and the Nates had to take their laptops and leave the office
Just working the
and go work in the lounges around Fishbowl.
Yep. Oh, and the conference rooms were taken up.
Oh, the
So we
conference rooms were taken
literally
up
were
that
just
day.
like in main spaces.
So then we came
Thanks,
back
Sean.
in the afternoon. He had another meeting
Yep.
with the head of dev.
That we didn't know about. No.
And
Before
then-
that.
This is the last you'll ever hear about this, Sean. We've complained about this
No, it's not.
so much.
Whenever I'm gone, you guys
I'll bring
just
it up.
slam me.
And then
100%. No, we do it while you're here.
No,
Fine.
this is the only time we've done it, actually. And then
He had a
and then
call.
he had a conference call. And then he's like, "Oh, I have a call," and then he just busts that baby on speakerphone the rest of
It
the
was
time.
like a quarterly business review call, so it took a minute. It was like very serious.
Yeah, it
You know,
gave me
my calls are
anxiety.
never serious, guys. Come
Stop
It gave
it.
me-
Sean's the
gave
most
me
serious person I
anxiety.
know.
He started talking about percentages and contracts, and I got out of there.
Yep. Oh,
Anyways.
and by the way, his other meeting that was in the office with the dev team or whatever, that was a speakerphone phone call too
Oh,
to
yeah,
a different
yeah.
partner.
Yeah.
So I walked in the middle
Double
of it, and they were
speakerphone.
like, "Oh,"
They
and they
shuffled
did like
you
the
out.
quiet thing, and then
Yeah,
I said, "Damn it, Sean," and I'm
They
pretty sure
shuffled you
that
out.
was probably
I mean,
on the
it-
speakerphone. Sorry,
At least everybody listening to this podcast know that I work my tail off at Fishbowl.
that was the last day that Sean's worked, and I think it was 2 or 3 months ago.
Hey, but changing the subject,
Stop trying to change the subject.
There's this
bro.
other office peeve that I just,
Okay,
you know,
read it. Let's read
this
it.
is so
this
true.
Is passive aggressive hour for us, dude.
This is so true, dude. So, you know how people leave food out in like the kitchen area,
yeah.
you know, and so this office peeve is when you find that the donut you wanted was mysteriously cut in half.
That is the worst. Especially when it was cut in half like an hour before, so the ends are already staling up. It just
Did
shortens
someone do
out.
that to you in here?
Every Friday,
You don't cut
Our
it in half.
CEO
Take the
brings
full
in
donut, bro.
our CEO brings in donuts every Friday. Great guy, and you know this could really resonate with people at Fishbowl.
Yeah, we need to maybe get this.
The
thing worked
donut
out.
cut in half. Who does that?
The
Oh,
last one
man.
I'll say. The last one I'll say before we get back to the topics is people that, speaking about kitchen, people that cook food, and also there's someone, I hope he listens to this, that cooks food in the main kitchen that smells the entire kitchen up.
Oh, the entire office.
Hey, I got an idea. Don't bring your crock pot to work. Don't bring your crock pot to work, right? That's a pretty normal thing.
Yes.
Okay.
How about this though? There's another company that works in the same building that we do that used, I guess, during Christmas time a couple times, a common area for a potluck.
Oh,
That smelled up the
bad.
entire office, and
Yeah.
no one likes the smell of a potluck. Let's be honest.
And then
There's
it's not
too many
your
smells
company
happening.
too, so you can't even say anything.
Nothing we could do about it. Nothing. It was just, and I felt like it like stuck to my clothes, so I just smelled it all day. I know I did not participate in the potluck. I didn't eat it. I didn't anything. I didn't even look at it. I just smelled it constantly.
Yeah, as soon as you walked in,
worst.
you could smell it.
Sorry, I'm obviously passionate about that one.
It's bad.
Mer-
Okay, let's move on. We're okay now that it's out of our system.
Now I'm upset
Yeah,
though.
we're good.
Maybe we shouldn't do this segment, dude. It just pisses everybody off.
No, I mean, I'm fine. I'm comfortable with the work I put in here at Fishbowl. So
I'm confident of it.
It's just selfish work, but that's fine.
All right. Let's talk about a couple more things, and then we'll do one last segment that I stole from another podcast.
Yay.
And it's pretty funny. But so the last conference we did Scaling New Heights, Magento Imagine, AccountX, Latino Tax Fest, and then the last one we did in November. We do every year. It's probably our biggest conference of the year is QB Connect. So QuickBooks Connect. It's in San Jose. It was I think it was really fun. They always do a good job. We stayed. We had a bunch of people because we had a big booth. We had 6 people go down there. We had one guy. If you've listened to this podcast religiously, James. What episode was he on?
I think he's on the last one, isn't he?
Yeah, he talks about logo and branding.
Yeah, he's a marketing
He does
guy.
the
I think it was the 5th or 6th episode.
He had some controversial statements in the last one.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he got the flu during the entire conference. He literally stayed in his hotel room the entire. We paid for him to come and be sick for 3 days and then fly back home.
Well, what was interesting is he always went out to he always went out to dinner with
He
us.
was ready for
after.
dinner.
He was always fine for dinner. Dude, it's like your kid that stays home from school and then he wants to play with his friends.
Yeah, play video games and
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like my mom growing up, man. If you miss church because you're sick, like you're sick the rest of the day.
Yeah, better be.
Yeah. So, anyways, shout out to James. So QB Connect was cool. Couple things I loved at QB Connect. There was one booth that Finagraph is the company name. These guys, I honestly don't even know what they do,
I loved it.
but I remember their booth because they had a digital caricature artist.
That's right.
Okay,
Yep.
so this artist had this big, massive vertical monitor that she was drawing on, and it would translate to the iPad so everyone could see it. And then the person would sit behind her, right? So you can't see, the person that's getting drawn can't see her drawing, but everyone else sees the iPad and sees what she's drawing. And then they'd print off the digital copy. They'd send you the digital copy,
The digital copy.
I'm talking.
New word.
The digital copy. And then they'd they print off the badge. And so it was just like a funny picture of like, caricature, right?
Yep.
And then they would print it off and give it to you and then had their company logo right very conveniently up there so you couldn't crop it out if you had the digital copy of it.
She nailed it too. That
Dude, they
character
did really
artist was
good.
awesome.
So I got mine done. Sean got his done.
Fine. Yep.
Nate did not get his done.
Yeah, you didn't do yours, man. But because the line was massive. We just happened
Yep.
to walk over there randomly like when it was a lull, but they had a huge line every day.
Yep.
And it
for a
takes
free
about
service.
It takes about 5 minutes.
5 minutes each
for her to
person.
draw.
Yeah.
Which is so smart because then the whole
They're stuck.
crew, the staff at Finagraph now has you in a chair for 5 minutes and you literally can't leave
Yep.
because you're getting drawn. And so then they find out and then they're just throwing their info at you and it's pretty good actually. It was pretty smart.
Yep.
So I really like that part. What else? What else about QB Connect?
You know, one thing when they had the keynote speakers, it was a ghost town in the exhibit hall. So
Yep.
I guess this is something we didn't like
Yeah.
necessarily, but it did break up the day, so you could, run and grab something if you had to. But the keynote speaker was completely separate. So
Yeah.
unlike AccountX, it was completely separate from the exhibit hall.
Yeah.
And when that keynote speaker Ashton Kutcher got up there, it was game over. Everybody was
Everyone loved
gone.
it,
Yep, everybody's watching him and.
How do you know? Weren't you at Ashton Kutcher?
Well, I might have snuck in
wah,
there.
wah, wah.
Man
weird, dude.
Man Crush Wednesday. What do they call it? I don't know. Man
no one
Crush
knows.
Monday.
MCW. So,
No,
Yeah,
but
that was cool.
that's kind of like booth life, though, right? Like if it's a bigger conference with like a bigger speaker, you just kind of expect it not to be. But The good thing about that, just kind of putting a spin on it, is then the people working the other booths, that's kind of when you get to go talk to the other people that are sponsors there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's good and bad.
Yeah. I didn't love how they kind of like compartmentalized the booths a little bit too much. They made them look like little rooms. So you couldn't
Yeah.
really see the other rooms.
Yeah, it's
So that was the
very
only thing I
closed
didn't
off.
love about it. But everything
Yeah.
else was good. I mean, Intuit's awesome. Like, they throw a really cool party.
Yeah.
We did, speaking of T-Sheets again, that night, we went to the Avalarian T-Sheets party, right? They had their, like,
That was a banger.
I don't even know what they called it, but it was a party at some,
It was Connect After Dark.
yeah, there it is.
That was great.
Club Mumbai or whatever it was at. It was cool.
Yeah,
though.
it was awesome.
It's like a glow stick party, basically. Everything was
Yep.
neon.
Even the glasses that you got, like the
little
had,
plastic
like cups.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had like the glow stick stuff in it. So
Yeah, that was a fun party.
was
They
cool.
did a really good job, which is comes back to the first point of like make it memorable and make people talk about it again,
Yep.
which they did a good job of because that's the
Yeah.
only thing I remember.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing more you want to do after an accounting trade show than go dance your butt off.
no,
right?
watching these accountants cut loose,
And Club
fantastic.
Mumbai.
Cut loose on Sean for the most
Oh,
part.
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
That's
I
great.
mean, I will
Sean
say,
was the head of the party, I think.
Yep.
I will say the accountants. You might not think they're good dancers, but they got down that night. So
if they're good or not, that's irrelevant.
Yeah, that's.
But they know how.
they know how to have a good time. Which accountants have this reputation of being boring and
Yeah.
they just sit in their office all day. They did, you know.
It was a fun party.
That was great.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like how you, and that's one way to be memorable. Coming back to what we were talking about earlier, is like to stand out at these conferences, you have to do stuff like that. You have to kind of be out of the ordinary, either how you dress. Like we wore like bright orange suit jackets to one of the dinners.
Bright orange Converse All Stars.
Yeah,
Yep,
the
yep.
whole time. The other thing is too is like swag. Like how do you differentiate yourself? Can I talk? Differentiate? How do you say that word?
I didn't even catch that one. That's bad.
Differentiate.
Company?
Comedy was the best one, I think.
And so, like, with the swag, how many people give pens? Like, we tried to be a little bit different and give, like, some wobbly fish.
We had the fidget spinner pens,
The
which
fidget
are a hit.
spinner.
Yep.
Wild that those were such big hits. I
Oh,
loved
people
it.
loved them. The wobbly fish were okay, but people also loved those. I thought they were kind of dumb, but people loved them because they wanted to take them for their kids.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, another
what
thing.
else?
Another thing about swag, I think, is a good tip for anybody going to a conference. You know, it's always cool if somebody comes up, another exhibitor comes to your booth and gives you their swag, because it's always awkward. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but when I go to a conference, I always feel awkward going to someone's booth and getting swag. But if you were to be an exhibitor and go to another exhibitor, and be like, hey, do you guys want some swag? I think that's a good way to build some
Yeah.
relationships there.
Yeah, for sure. And
Well,
they're
it's
always
not
kind of pumped
awkward.
with it too,
Yeah.
because they're
If
like,
you-
"Yeah, we
if
don't
you
get
take-
around."
Yeah, take something in return.
It's like, give me your peace offering.
I'm so sick of swag from these conferences, though. At the same
Oh,
time,
it's the same stuff. Yeah.
I just take it for my kids, and then my wife's like, "Please stop bringing stuff crap home for the kids."
No,
Like,
it's
literally
so
last
true.
time.
I think something that I've learned too, like having to go to a few, like within the year, I guess, because I feel like
Yeah.
if you do one a year, then you're not going to get sick of it. It's just fun, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, just keep it small. If it's something I can like put in my pocket or something in my carry on the way home, that's not like a commitment for me to bring home.
Yeah.
Then it's awesome. Or something I can use at my desk. Like there was one that was like one of those like wireless phone chargers that somebody gave to us. I think it was like, who was it that did that anyway? But that's a good one.
PayPal.
Yeah, PayPal. So that was a good one because I literally brought it back and just set it on my desk as like a wireless phone charger. That was perfect. But
Yep.
Yeah,
I
you
know
don't
some
want
of
it
these
too. You
big
don't want it
things.
too big that like they can't ship it home either, or ship it home.
or
Fit
that
it-
do
fit it
have
in
to
their
ship
thing.
it home. That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. Anything else about conferences? Well, let's talk about the 20. We're gonna do an improv read, another segment real fast, and then we'll talk about where we're gonna go in 2020, just to give people ideas of like conferences to go to. Right. This is
Yep.
anyone in the SMB space, in the inventory space.
Yep.
Meaning they have inventory, which if you sell products, you have inventory. Okay, so the improv read. So this is what we're going to do. So I'll start, and sorry, I'm just getting this up. So I'm going to go to fishbowlinventory.com/blog. So the point of this is you start reading the article, and you guys have to guess when I stop reading and start improvising the article.
Deal.
And then Fulmer, you're going to go next, and then since Sean's going to wrap it up with an inventory tip. and then we'll go through our conferences. So, fishableinventory.com, I'm going to do top 10 warehouse organization mistakes. Okay. All right.
By the way, a little shout out to our blog writer Rob. Does a really good job with these. So
yeah, this is Rob Lockard. He writes all our blogs. Sometimes he gets I think he's been published to Forbes a few times.
I think a couple times, yeah.
Some of the different articles. So here we go. So top 10 warehouse organization mistakes. Okay. It's great when someone manages to boil down many complex ideas into an easily understandable format. That's exactly what this infographic does. If you keep in mind that this is way harder than it looked on the other podcast.
I was going to say.
Okay, hold on. Next one.
Wait, so you haven't were you just thinking of something you could say, or did you actually made it up?
Yeah, if you keep in mind, I couldn't go any further.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
We're not quick enough on our feet. We need to script this out before.
If you'd like to correct, okay, I'm going to start the next paragraph. If you'd like to correct all these errors, start using Fishbowl Warehouse today. It automates many of your business processes and helps you keep all of your inventory tidy and neat. This is too hard.
Knowing Rob, you did not make that part out.
I did make that part.
No. And too much static in the mic. My bad.
No, it's good. I'll
Which
I'll
part? The
hush
tidy
that
and
up.
neat?
That whole sentence I made up.
What? Okay, good for you.
All right, Fulmer, you do one, and then we'll have.
No, you're too good at
we'll
this.
Wrap it up with an inventory tip.
All right, mine's the same location in the blog section or whatever of our website. But this is from the blog In-House versus Outsourced Fulfillment. Don't look at your phone.
No, I'm not looking.
Let's see. Oh, this is bad. I don't know.
So we got to call him out as soon as he starts making it up.
You're too
Right?
good at it.
That's the point.
Yeah. No, this will be easy.
You kept a straight face. Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, lawyer Sean. The potential benefits of outsourcing are many. Improved flexibility, quality, responsiveness, access to new markets, lower costs, increased speed, decreased customer response time, decreased costs, increased costs, not to mention time and luxury savings.
You're lying.
Luxury savings is BS.
Dude, I was making it up for a couple seconds there, so I didn't know where else to go. Luxury just popped into mind.
Luxury savings.
Not to mention, I'm pretty sure I looked up a couple times in that sentence. He's not even reading at this point.
That's unreal. All
Also,
right.
I'm pretty sure I said increased or decreased costs.
You said decreased
two
cost
times.
after you said increased cost.
And then increased costs, which
But then I'm like, oh, it does both. You actually had me on that.
I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about where we're going in 2020. Give some people some ideas, and then we'll talk about. We'll do the inventory tip. We'll wrap this thing up. This is a slow burning episode. We need to get out of here.
Phenomenal.
Okay, go ahead.
So the conferences we're going to in 2020, we're going to be hitting up some of the same conferences. We're going to go to QuickBooks Connect. We're going to go to Accountex. We're going to Scaling New Heights.
Yep.
We're hitting up a food and beverage conference this year. It's called Expo West in Anaheim. And then there's a couple in Chicago. One is called IRCE.
Yep.
And B2B Online.
So those are focused more on the retail and the e-commerce space, right?
What does IRCE stand for?
That is a
I have
great
no
question.
idea.
So yeah,
International Retail Committee Executives.
ARS.
IRS. International.
ARC?
I have no idea.
ARC?
It's basically like Big Commerce is the main sponsor.
Cool.
They throw it. So it's like it's like an e-commerce thing.
Yep.
That's cool.
So yeah, those are some of the conferences we're going to. There might be Expo East as well. That's in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I know that we just got done. That's one we didn't mention because I didn't go.
Yeah.
We had two people from Fishbowl go, but the MJ Biz conference. So like we do a lot of cannabis companies as far as inventory. We have an integration with Metric. So we go to cannabis shows as well as we have some dudes going to a firearm show, the SHOT Show in Vegas.
Yeah, SHOT
next
Show in
week.
Vegas.
So like some of those very specific, like you said, the food and beverage.
Very industry specific.
Industry
ones.
specific. Yeah. I can't talk. All right, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, so those are the conferences. So here's the inventory tip of the week, and I'm surprised we haven't had this tip yet. Honestly, well, this should have been number one, but
Well,
one.
Hey, maybe you should tell that to the guy who provides the tips.
Who does that?
Well, I don't know.
Which is
I mean,
you.
you guys sign off on everything, so that's
Yeah, right.
We sign off.
Most
You're
of the
giving
time.
this podcast way too much credit, bro.
yeah. You guys are the
Did you
hosts.
run that through the writers?
Yeah, I sent it over to marketing, and they
Just
they
for
make
everyone's
sure-
information, usually when it comes time for the inventory tip of the week, we just hear Sean frantically typing away in the back. Google.
Right. So yeah. So this week, number one tip all time: if you do not have an inventory management software, you need one.
Oh, hey, that is a good one.
So a lot of people out there, and I'm not even kidding, most of our customers are using spreadsheets.
Napkins sometimes.
They're
Yep.
using pen and paper. Or they just have a dude in the warehouse that just knows where everything is. So a completely manual process. So if you do not have a fishbowl inventory, you need to get it. No, if you do not have a software
Yeah.
inventory management solution, please look into it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And don't build your own access database. It
Yeah.
usually doesn't work out.
Don't do it. Yeah, a lot of customers too. They build their own custom in-house.
Yeah.
Solution.
And then you got
That's-
to look at switching costs when you lose that developer, and then he is the only one on the planet that knows how to use it. So,
Yep.
Exactly.
Or fix it or change it. So
Yep.
So
that's
yeah,
a good tip.
there's
That's,
a tip.
You're right. We should have started with that one. Dang it.
Yeah, and quick stat: like 88% of spreadsheets have errors in them. So don't use spreadsheets.
Is that a made up stat?
No, it's true. It's a true. We'll post it in the show notes.
I mean, I'm not questioning it because I think that that's probably true.
In the show notes.
I'm probably responsible for 50% of the errors that
Yeah.
you're seeing. And
When we start posting videos, we'll actually be able to post notes like in the YouTube. But right
that'd
now,
be
there's
fun.
no notes, but we'll post it in the notes that don't exist.
no, the
But-
show highlight.
The show. Oh yeah.
Yeah, see?
We could put. I got you there. Okay. All right. Well, let's wrap it up. This is. It's been fun.
Signing off.
I'm like kind of exhausted talking about the conferences. Like I feel like
too.
I had to kind of relive some of them a little bit.
And full transparency with all of the listeners out there, we've already done this episode before, but it didn't ever get published, and so we had to re-record it. So
The
sorry
first
if-
one was better. It's in the archives. You'll never see it.
Yeah, I don't know.
James was on it, but we kicked him off because he didn't show up to QB. He was sick during QB Connect, and so he doesn't get to like talk about.
Even though he's been to more
conferences
conferences than all of us, probably.
as if he knows what he's talking about. So
Yep.
shout out to James. All right, cool. Let's wrap it up.
All
Thanks
right.
for being on, Sean. We'll
right.
see you next episode on the fact checking, buddy.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
All right, see ya.